do audio.
They all want to help, and so I hope we're going to get into some exchange down the line here. I want to thank you all again for being in this important meeting. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And Governor Newsom, you're trying to make us feel bad. Listen to that magnificent background you have over there. And when I'm sitting in here in the White House, God love you. Anyway, it's good to see you all, really. Thank you. For years, the President has received a briefing at the beginning of the hurricane season, looking at the trends that are coming to get a sense of what's coming so that the country can be better prepared. And when I received that briefing this year, I asked for a second briefing that does the same thing, but now we're doing about wildfire season. And we know this is becoming a regular cycle, and we know it's getting worse. In fact, the threat of western wildfires this year is as severe as it's ever been. And I wanted to convene this group of governors, of western state governors, key members of my cabinet, FEMA leadership, and the leadership from utility industries, and senior members of our White House team, to make sure we're doing everything, and I mean this sincerely, we're doing everything possible to help you prepare for what's coming, and some is already there. The truth is we're playing catch-up. This is an area that has been under-resourced, but that's going to change if we have anything to do with it. We can't cut corners when it comes to managing our wildfires or supporting our firefighters. And this briefing is going to be an annual event to make sure we're focusing on preventing the fire threats in the first place, as well as responding when they arise. But right now we have to act, and act fast. We're late in the game here. We're remembering the horrific scenes from last year. Orange skies that look like end of days, smoke and ash that made the air dangerous to breathe, more than 10 million acres burned, billions of dollars in economic damage, families that lost their homes and everything they own, and too many lost lives. And this year, there could be even tougher based on the weather patterns. You know, California and some other places, the drought conditions are twice that's what they were last year. And right now, we're seeing record heat in Portland and across the West. And this year, 21 large uncontained fires were burning. This year, there are 36 that are uncontained and burning. There are already about 9,000 firefighters deployed across the region, from California to New Mexico to Utah and Nevada, and it's only June. I realize I'm preaching to the choir here. I know you all know this better than any other people in the country. The fire season traditionally lasts through October. But with climate change driving the dangerous confluence of extreme heat and prolonged drought, we're seeing wildfires of greater intensity that move with more speed, and last well beyond the traditional months of the fire season. And that's a problem for all of us. Wildfires are not a partisan phenomenon. They don't stop at a county or a state line, or a country line for that matter. We need a coordinated, comprehensive response with all the federal government working in close cooperation to support you, the states. That's what this is about. We want to know what you, the states, the localities, and tribal governments, and those in the front lines are facing in this danger, and what you think would help the most. Today, we're taking critical steps to help protect American communities right away. First, we're going to make sure that we have enough firefighters on call who are trained, equipped, and ready to respond for all this fire season. And we're going to pay them. The idea these folks are running into anyway, we should pay them. Last week, I learned that some of our federal firefighters are being paid less than $13 an hour. Come on, man, that's unacceptable to me. And I immediately directed my team to take decisive action to fix it. So today we're announcing what I still think is not enough. This year we're going to provide retention incentives that's going to ensure federal wildland fires, our firefighters are making at least $15 an hour, and provide for additional 10% bonuses for those working on the front lines. But a one-time boost is not enough. These courageous women and men take an incredible risk of running toward the fire, and they deserve to be paid, and paid good wages. You know that old expression, God made man, then he made a few firefighters? Well, it's true. They're incredible. I've spent a lot of time, my whole career with them. So we're going to work with Congress. I know many of your senators and representatives have been working hard on this to permanently get federal firefighters a better deal, including improvements in their compensation, their benefits, and their work-life balance. The federal government is also offering funding, when governors request it, to train and equip National Guard members so they're ready to provide a surge of firefighting capacity. You know, one of the things I learned over the years, being so deeply involved with the firefighters, the only thing that saves a firefighter's life is another firefighter. That's the single most consequential thing. And you know, one of the hardest speeches I've ever had to make, and we've all made difficult speeches, was at the funeral of the 19 Granite Mountain hotshot firefighters when the Prescott, Arizona Fire Department got clobbered. That tragedy happened 8 years ago today. That's the reason I mention it. It's hard to remember of all the costs that firefighters risk when they do their job, and their bravery to step up and do the job. Now, traditionally, federal firefighting has been a seasonal job, but because of climate change, and I know you all know it, I hope your constituents know it, there is climate change. It's no longer a seasonal job. This is a year-round mission. So we've made sure seasonal firefighters can stay on the job as long as they're needed this year by allowing them to work beyond their term. And for next year, we're working to make more of those positions permanent positions. So that when fires aren't burning, we have a workforce of experienced hands, enhancing our forest management, reducing the risk of future fire in the future fire season. Second thing, we are harnessing new tools and technologies to better identify and respond before new fires grow into large uncontrolled conflagrations. So, for example, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, has satellite technology that is able to see from space when new fires start while they're still small, even as small as the size of your dining room table. Similarly, the Department of Energy has a sensor array computer analysis capability that can detect in real time the lightning strikes that might set off a blaze. And we're going to use those tools to identify fires that start in remote places and share that information so the firefighters on the ground can respond immediately before fires spread out of control. I know that's not a full answer, but it's real. It will improve things. We're also going to make sure that the people have the information to better protect themselves and their families from smoke and fire risks. This will include launching a new app from EPA so individuals can easily access the latest information on air quality, smoke plumes, and public health guidance. Third, we also have to make investments in our future. That's why the bipartisan infrastructure framework investment of about $50 billion by so-called, anyway, I won't go into it, but a bill that's caused a little attention, infrastructure bill, is going to build resilience to extreme weather events like wildfires, $50 billion. And today, I'm announcing a $37 million federal grant to Sonoma County, California, in support of fire mitigation efforts that are underway. This grant is part of FEMA's BRIC program, Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. My administration doubled BRIC funding to support local efforts to strengthen resilience. And because Sonoma knows all too well the devastation wrought by fires, they were the first to apply for the mitigation funding. I encourage more communities to do so next year. And finally, I want to note that the extreme heat we're seeing in the West is not only a risk amplifier for wildfires, it's a threat in and of itself. People are hurting. It's more dangerous for kids to play outside. Roads are buckling under the heat. I need not tell all of you. We need people to check on their neighbors, especially seniors who may need a helping hand. Outdoor laborers, like our farm and construction workers, are going to need frequent water breaks and shade. I want to thank the governors and local leaders for providing information to citizens and the resources like cooling centers where people can go to get relief from the heat. And to our utility leaders, We are ready to work with you to make sure that people have access to power, including air conditioning, under these extreme demand conditions while continuing to advance our climate goals. Now, I'm eager to hear from each of you, each of the governors, as to what experience has been in your state and what we can do better to be helpful, because this is an area where investing in prevention and preparation today is going to deliver invaluable returns tomorrow. And the federal government is going to have to have your backs, and that's my intention. I'll close by just saying thank you to everyone from the Forest Service to the Department of Interior and Agriculture to FEMA, state and local and tribal partners, and most importantly our firefighters for all your incredible work. We've asked so much of the firefighters already, and I know you're going to continue to step up. I'm going to ask the Vice President Harris to say a few words, and then we'll move on. Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I just want to thank the President for prioritizing this for his administration. This is a personal issue for me as a daughter of California, and I say hello to my governor, Gavin Newsom. I grew up with drought warnings. My brother-in-law is a California firefighter. As a senator, I have visited the scene while the embers were still smoldering of the fires, Paradise, for example, California. And when I arrived there, a whole community had been wiped out by the fire. The families still hadn't been let back in, but the only thing standing in that community were the chimneys, which looked in that scene like tombstones. The firefighters that were there pointed out to me, if you look at the driveway, it may be a tragic situation if the cars are still in the driveway, because that means the folks didn't get out in time. We have so much work to do on this. My home, our family home, was under an evacuation order in Los Angeles. So I've been in that experience of also saying, look, the most things we can grab that are the most valuable are family photographs. Everything else doesn't matter. So when I think about the challenges that we face as a nation, I know they are real. I also know that we're in a different climate, as the President said, on every level than we were even 10 years ago. And there's a lot of work to do. And part of the leadership of this administration has been to also recognize that the federal government's role in this regard has to be more than just putting out fires. It needs to be obviously supporting our firefighters, especially at the federal level, who are not getting paid enough. But it's also about investing in resilience. It's about investing in adaptation, diversifying water policy in a way we are thinking about the storage of water both above ground and underground. We're thinking about recycling and all that we know is available to us to actually be smarter in terms of the conservation of this diminishing and valuable resource called water. So I want to thank everyone for your leadership, because you